What is up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers. This is my full card breakdown and prediction video for UFC 288. We got Henry Cejudo going against Aljamain Sterling.
I need all the wins, yeah. Harder than all of this. You better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out.
And we are back for another full card breakdown and prediction video this week, breaking down an absolutely stacked pay-per-view card, 14 fights, stacked from top to bottom. The main event, Cejudo making his return after a 3-year layoff, taking on Aljamain Sterling. We got the co-main event, which is a 5-round fight between Belal Muhammad and Gilbert Burns. I'm really looking forward to this card, not only from a fan perspective, but a betting perspective. I think it's going to be a very fun night of fights for sure. It's a big step up from the last 2 weeks. I think the name value is very good on this card all around, so definitely looking forward to it. Coming off of the best night of the year for me last week, went up plus 6.69 units. I do want to shout out my guy Kyle Bohayo for cashing a second round submission ticket for me, plus 750. I about showed up to the show today with a neck tattoo saying free spirit. I was pumped up. Prior to that, hit the Sergey Pavlovich first round knockout prop. So yeah, it's been a great year. A winning January overall, a winning February overall, a winning March, and then a winning April last month, and now May starting. So would love to kick off the year with 5 straight winning months. It's been a great year thus far. Hopefully it keeps up, and we're going to keep it going with UFC 288. So this is a pay-per-view card, so I'm going to be bringing back the Significant Strike contest, give out some free money here. To enter this contest, first, leave a like on the video. Second, subscribe to the channel if you are not already. And then third, comment down how many Significant Strikes you think that Henry Cejudo and Aljamain Sterling are going to combine for. $25 to first. If there's a tie, the tiebreaker does go to the person that commented first. So be sure to comment down those Significant Strikes. Other than that, it's a great time to sign up on dfsbythenumbers.com to get some content that you do not see on YouTube. You get access to my stats that you see on the Friday show and the Saturday show. First notice on all my bets. I do have 3 thus far, all 3 plus money. My full card breakdown and best bet article. This is probably what adds the most value to this $10 package. I break down every single fight. I give the prediction, the round, the method, the confidence rating, and then the best bet for each and every fight on the card. Other than that, access to Discord where I do give out my bet alerts, and then it's the best way to reach me as always. And then my final betting article that comes out on Fridays where I break down my tracked bets along with my Hail Mary parlay, my prelim parlay, and my main card parlay. So it's the best way to support me, and on top of that, you get a ton of extra content, so be sure to check out dfsbythenumbers.com. Other than that, going to be going live Friday after the weigh-ins for the Final Thought stream, and then I'll be going live, I think, twice on Saturday. I'm going to be going once for Best Bet, and then I'll probably do like a Fight Day live chat as well on Saturday. So make sure you do subscribe so you not miss out on all of that. Lastly, you can check me out on Twitter, DFS_numbers, Instagram, DFS by the numbers. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, my DMs are always open. And lastly, let's see if we can get this video to 500 likes. It's a big pay-per-view, great main event, great co-main event. Let's see if we can hit the 500 mark. It's always a nice goal doing that. So with all that out of the way, we have 14 fights to talk about. I say we get right into it. And we're going to start with the first fight on the card, and we're kicking this fight card off with just a complete banger. We got Daniel Santos going against Johnny Munoz Jr. We got Daniel Santos, 28 years old, 5'7", with a 67-inch reach, 10-2 and 3-2 in his last 5 fights. Johnny Munoz Jr., 30 years old, 5'9", with a 71-inch reach, 12-2 and 3-2 in his last 5 fights. We'll take a look at the odds like we always do, and we see that Daniel Santos is the favorite. He opened up -170, currently sitting at -185. And then Johnny Munoz Jr. is the underdog. He opened up around +145. He's currently sitting at +160. So, yeah, I was really impressed with the performance of Daniel Santos in his last fight against John Castaneda. I think John Castaneda is actually a really good fighter. I like John Castaneda quite a bit. He made his debut against Julio Arce, which is a very tough debut to make, but it just shows you, what the UFC thinks of this guy. Daniel Santos trains with Charles Oliveira in them, and he kind of fights like Charles Oliveira, just coming forward, that pressure. He's very dangerous. He doesn't give a crap about his striking defense. You can hit him. He'll hit you right back, and he'll hit you even harder. This guy is very, very exciting, and this is a very exciting matchup. It's kind of a striker versus grappler matchup where, both guys are good grapplers, both guys are black belts, but it's going to be Santos who is going to want to keep this on the feet. Johnny Munoz Jr., his bread and butter is the grappling. He's a black belt in BJJ, like I mentioned. This guy's been grappling since he was a little kid. He's a very high-level grappler, but I don't know if he has the best wrestling and the best ability to get the fight down to the mat, and that's going to be a problem against Daniel Santos. Daniel Santos, like I said, he comes forward with reckless abandon, doesn't care about his strike and defense, and I don't think that's a massive concern here, but man, he got hurt multiple times against John Castaneda. I had a finish-only bet on Daniel Santos in that fight, and John Castaneda almost finished him like 5 times, but he's super tough. He has a lot of heart. He has great cardio, toughness, durability, and he was able to take over that second round of the Castaneda fight, and he broke John Castaneda, who typically is next-level tough in his own right, and who has great cardio in his own right, and he broke him. He broke John Castaneda, and I think he does the same thing here. I think Johnny Munoz is going to want to get this fight down to the mat. He's not going to want to strike with Santos. I think he's going to feel the pressure. I don't think he's going to like the pressure, and I don't really think there's going to be much he's going to be able to do about it. So I like Santos here to stuff the takedowns, keep it on the feet, pressure, and break Johnny Munoz as the fight goes on. I like Daniel Santos to win this fight by second round finish. This fight is going to be an absolute banger to kick off the card, and really excited for this one. Moving on to the next fight, we got honestly probably one of the lowest level fights on the card, but I guess it should be fun. We got Claudio Riberio going against Joseph Holmes. We got Claudio Riberio, 30 years old, 6'1", with a 77-inch reach, 10-3 and 4-1 in his last 5 fights. Joseph Holmes, 27 years old, 6'4", with an 80-inch reach, 8-3 and 3-2 in his last 5 fights. So Claudio Riberio is the favorite, open up around -190, currently -175. Joseph Holmes, the dog, opening up +165, currently around +150. And yeah, this is a mess of a fight. Claudio Ribeiro, I don't think he's the most skilled mixed martial artist, but what he does have is just a freakish power, and that's been able to get him by in a lot of these fights, especially low-level fights, and honestly, it probably does get him by here, but I think he does have a big hole in his game, and that hole in his game is going to be the grappling, which in theory, Joseph Holmes could be able to exploit here, but I don't know if I can trust Joseph Holmes. Like, Joseph Holmes, he's probably the more skilled mixed martial artist, but I don't know. I just have not been impressed with really any of his performances outside of the Alan Amedovski fight where he starched Amedovski and submitted him in the first round, but you can't really take a ton away from that. He made his debut against Jamie Pickett. I mean, losing to Jamie Pickett's never a good thing. He was not able to take down Jamie Pickett. I didn't like that. Looked awful against Jung Young Park. Jung Young Park just broke him and submitted him in the second round. So I'm just not sure Joseph Holmes is that great. He is 6'4". He's huge for the division. I'll give him that, but I think Claudio Ribeiro is going to be the better striker. I think Claudio Ribeiro has a ton more power, and if Joseph Holmes is not able to get this fight down to the mat, I think it's going to be a really long night for him. Well, in this case, a really short night because he probably gets knocked out. So, ugly fight here, low-level fight, but give me Claudio Ribeiro to knock out Joseph Holmes in the very first round. But if Joseph Holmes is able to get takedowns, he is a brown belt, he is a good grappler, he could have success. I just can't really trust him to do that. So I'll take Claudio Ribeiro. I love the leg kicks. Very, very hard leg kicks. And like I said, a ton of power in the guy's hands. 100% finish rate. Both these guys do, actually. 100% finish rate for Ribeiro, all by knockout. And you can see why this guy hits like an absolute truck. So give me Ribeiro first round knockout. But it's not something you want to be completely confident in because this is one of the lower level fights on this very high level card, I'd say. Moving on, we have a fun fight. I'm looking forward to this one. We got Rafael Estevam. He is taking on Zhalgas Zhumagulov. We got Rafael Estevam, 26 years old, 5'8" with a 69-inch reach. He is 11-0, 5-0 in his last 5 fights. We got Zhalgas Zhumagulov, 34 years old, 5'4" with a 66.5-inch reach, 7 wives, 14-8, and 1-4 in his last 5 fights. We'll take a look at the odds here. We have money pouring in on Rafael Estevam. He is currently sitting at -185, and Zhalgas Zhumagulov is currently sitting at +160. Looks like a lot of money pouring in on Estevam as of late. And I was very impressed with what I saw from Estevam. I like this guy quite a bit. I don't think he has the best striking in the world, but he's 26. He's going to be making improvements. What I like most about Estevam is his relentlessness. This guy is relentless when it comes to the wrestling, when it comes to the grappling. He's going to take you down. If you get back up, you're going right back down. His grappling's really good back takes, and then really good ground and pound as well. We saw on the Contender Series, he went out there and kind of broke his opponent. After the first round, I wasn't even sure if his opponent was going to start the second, but he did start the second. Estevam took him down a second later and then ended up TKOing him. The fight probably could have been stopped even earlier than that, but very good performance on the Contender Series, making his debut here against Zhalgas Zhumagulov, who I feel bad for. I feel very bad for Zhalgas Zhumagulov. This guy is 1-4 in his last 5 fights. I thought he won his last 2 fights. I mean, I thought he beat Jeff Molina. Don't get me wrong, close fight, but my goodness. And then I thought he beat Charles Johnson as well. And that one was a very bad decision, in my opinion. And then he made his debut against Rolian Paiva a couple years ago. I thought he beat Rolian Paiva. I mean, the judges hate Zhalgas Zhumagulov. There's even fights like outside the UFC that he's losing that you could arguably, think he won. So that's terrifying. When we're talking about a fight that's going to go to decision, that's terrifying because the judges hate this guy. I'm not sure what happened. I'm not sure why the judges hate this guy, but they hate him. They do, and this guy is notorious for losing split decisions. So even in a world where Zhalgas does win this fight, he probably loses because the judges hate him. But no, I think Estevam wins here. I think he wins here, but I don't think Zhalgas Zhumagulov is a bad fighter at all. I think Zhalgas is very good. He's fought very good competition. He's fought the much better competition in this matchup. He's going to be the better striker. He throws with bad intentions. His takedown defense is okay. His get-up game is okay. And he has good offensive wrestling in his own right. I just think the relentlessness of Rafael Estevam is going to win him minutes here and win enough minutes to eke out a decision in this one. So give me Estevam to win a decision. Probably a split decision, potentially a robbery split decision, but I like Estevam to get it done. Honestly, really impressed with this kid. I like him a lot. 26 years old. He's going to be 8 years younger. I think he goes out there and beats Zhalgas Zhumagulov by decision in this one with the control, the takedowns, maybe take Zhalgas' back here and there, but I like him to win this one by decision here. Should be a very fun fight. All right, next we have Ikram Aliskerov going against Phil Hawes. Probably one of the better fights on the prelims. Like, this feels like it should not even be a prelim, but hey, it just shows you how stacked this card is. So we'll start with Ikram Aliskerov, who is 30 years old, 6 foot with a 76-inch reach. He is 13-1 and 5-0 in his last 5 fights. Phil Hawes, 34 years old, 6 foot with a 77.5-inch reach, 12-4 and 3-2 in his last 5 fights. We'll take a look at the odds here. We have some pretty big line movement. Aliskerov opened up -250. He went all the way down to -330. He's currently -215. Phil Hawes opened up +210. He is currently sitting at +185. And there's a lot of hype on Aliskerov. And I think for a couple reasons. I think for the reason that he's very good. I think his grappling's very, very impressive to me. But another reason I think there's some hype on this guy is because you recognize that name on his record, that loss on his record, and people are going to be talking about that like it's a good thing. He got knocked out in the first round by Khamzat Chimaev, so I think that's how a lot of people know Ikram Aliskerov. He got knocked out by Khamzat Chimaev. He went on the Contender Series, took down Mario Souza, submitted him. I think he broke his arm or something, but good performance there, I suppose. But I'm not impressed with Mario Souza, and I guess I went into tape with higher expectations potentially. Like, there's so much hype on Ikram Aliskerov. I was like, I'm looking forward to seeing what this guy has, brings to the table. And don't get me wrong, his grappling's next level. Like, if he can get on top, he's a serious problem. I love the grappling, but I didn't think the wrestling was all that good. I think he struggled against these lower level guys at times to get the fight down to the mat. But when he does get the fight down to the mat, he does do some damage. He does get submissions, and he's very impressive in that right. I don't think the striking's that good from Aliskerov. This is an interesting matchup to me, and honestly, it's a tough fight to call, just due to the fact that Phil Hawes has a wrestling background. I believe he wrestled high school, college, very good wrestler, and the thing with Phil Hawes, he has 100% takedown defense. Now, not a lot of guys are trying to take him down, and I watched every single Phil Hawes fight that was available to me, and I have not seen anybody take him down, anybody really come close to taking him down. I've seen him get knocked down. He's very chinny. I've seen him gas out. He has no cardio, but He has very good takedown defense from what I've seen. And if Ikram Aliskerov is not able to take down Phil Hawes, this fight is going to get very interesting because I don't think the striking's close. I love the striking of Phil Hawes. And it's got so much better over the last couple of years. And he's going to have the striking advantage here. It's just, with Phil Hawes, you got to worry about a couple things in this matchup. So, first with Phil Hawes, you always worry about the chin. I really question the chin of Phil Hawes. Like, there's some shots that land and he just starts wobbling all over the place. It's not a good look. So the chin is a big concern for me. The other concern is the gas tank. You know, he does slow down as the fight goes on. I don't like that. And then the other concern is if Aliskerov gets his fight down to the mat, what does Phil Hawes look like off his back? And I don't know. We'll have to find out because nobody's been able to take this guy down yet. And Aliskerov is no joke when he does get on top. So I'm going to pick Phil Hawes, and you can never have confidence in Phil Hawes, honestly, ever, against anybody. But I'm going to take him to stuff the takedowns here, keep it on the feet, and do the better work on the feet here. Give me Phil Hawes to win this fight. I'll say he wins this fight by first round knockout, but I don't feel great about it. I don't feel great about it. You can never feel great about backing Phil Hawes, and I'm probably not betting this fight. But give me Phil Hawes to pull off the upset and knock out Aliskerov in his debut. We'll see what happens. All right. Next, we have the People's main event, the most talked about fight of the week. We have Parker Porter taking on Braxton Smith. We got Parker Porter, who is 38 years old, 6 foot with a 75-inch reach, 13-8 and 3-2 in his last 5 fights. Braxton Smith, 33 years old, 5'11", not sure on the reach there. He is 5-1 and 5-0 in his last 5 fights. So we will take a look at the odds. We got fan favorite Parker Porter opening up plus 150, currently minus 180. And then we got Braxton Smith opening up around minus 175, currently plus 155. And this fight is just a complete mess. I went and watched all the tape on Braxton Smith. It took me a total of 5 minutes to do so because this guy gets in and he gets out. He has so much power in his hands. He's built like a refrigerator. He's like a much more aggressive version of William Knight. And he hits very, very hard. Weird circumstances with Braxton Smith in terms of his career, though. He made his debut back in like 2014 against Chase Sherman. He lost that fight. There's no footage that I could find on that fight, but he got, I think, knocked out. And then after that, he took literally like an 8-year layoff. 8-year layoff, came back in 2022, and has 5 fights since then. So I think he like was playing football or something. I listened to an interview, he was like playing football or something, but that's a long, long layoff. But anyway, he comes back and he's racked off 5 wins in a row, all 5 of them being within the first couple seconds. This guy hits like a truck. And I know everybody always jokes, Parker Porter, future champion, Parker Porter's the GOAT, all this, all that. I don't think Parker Porter's that great. I really don't. There are some attributes with Parker Porter that I like in terms of a heavyweight, those being the cardio, good cardio for Porter. That being, the grappling. I think Porter has solid grappling, for heavyweight standards. And then the volume, incredible volume for Parker Porter. So I think he has really good attributes that I like, but the guy's been finished in all of his losses. He's been finished, I think, 7 times, and then he has like a disqualification loss. I think he's been knocked out like 4 times. He's been submitted 3 times. He gets finished a lot. And he got finished in his last fight against Justin Tafa. Braxton Smith, there's so many question marks about this guy, and that's why Parker Porter's the favorite. Porter's fought the better competition. It's not even close at all. Porter's fought the much better guys. Porter's been in the UFC. Porter has seen a second round. He's seen a third round. He's seen a decision. He's going to have the volume advantage. He's going to have the grappling advantage. He's going to have all these advantages. With that said, Braxton Smith can absolutely knock out Parker Porter within the first minute. It's definitely on the table with the way Braxton Smith hits these guys and they're going down. Like, he is going out there and starching these guys, and Parker Porter has been starched a lot. So it's a sketchy. I mean, this is the sketchiest fight on the card. I mean, this is about as 1-800 gambler as you're going to get. I mean, this is probably not a fight that should be bet on, but in terms of a pick, I don't know. It's going to be a hilarious fight. It kind of reminds me of the Martin Buday-Jake Collier fight last week. It was a hilarious fight. This is a hilarious fight. I'm going to enjoy this fight from a fan perspective. It's going to be very funny watching the outcomes in this fight. But I'm going to take Braxton Smith to win this fight by first round knockout. I think he's going to pressure Parker Porter. I think Porter's going to try to take him down. If he does, he probably honestly finishes Braxton Smith. But if he doesn't, I think Braxton Smith knocks him out here. So this feels about as 50-50 as you're going to get. Does Parker Porter weather the storm or take this guy down? Or does Braxton Smith knock this guy out in the first couple minutes? I think it's 50-50. I'm not sure why people are betting Parker Porter here. I get it to an extent, but do you really want to lay chalk on Parker Porter? I don't. Give me Braxton Smith by first round knockout with about as little confidence as you'll ever get from me. But I'll take Braxton Smith to hilariously knock out Parker Porter in the first round. All right, moving on. We have Marina Rodriguez going against Virna Jandiroba. Very high-level fight here at strawweight. We got Marina Rodriguez, 36 years old, 5'6", with a 65-inch reach. 16-2-2 and 4-1 in her last 5 fights. We got Virna Jandiroba. Love that picture of Virna there. She's 34 years old, 5'3", with a 64-inch reach. 18-3 and 3-2 in her last 5 fights. So we'll take a look at the odds here. Crazy line movement on this one, and I'm talking crazy. We have Marina Rodriguez opening up -275. She's currently -125. And then Virna Jandiroba opening up +235. She is currently +120. And this was actually the last fight I taped out of the 14 fights. I wish I would have taped it first because, man, I kind of like Virna here. I think it's a very close fight. This is about as striker versus grappler matchup as you're ever going to see. I mean, it's you got Marina Rodriguez, who's going to be the much better striker, and it's not even close. I mean, it's actually hilarious in terms of the striking discrepancy between these two. Rodriguez is the much better striker. It's night and day. With that said, though, Jandiroba does have a path to victory, and the path to victory is getting the fight down to the mat. I don't like Marina Rodriguez's takedown defense, and people are bringing up the Mackenzie Dern fight like it's a good thing. Like, oh, she stuffed 9 takedowns for Mackenzie Dern. Mackenzie Dern has crap wrestling. Mackenzie Dern has like an 11% takedown defense or takedown accuracy, and it actually went up after the Marina Rodriguez fight because Mackenzie Dern landed 2 takedowns against Marina Rodriguez. Prior to that, Mackenzie Dern landed like 2 or 3 takedowns her entire UFC career. So yes, she stuffed takedowns from Mackenzie Dern, but that literally tells me nothing. That tells me absolutely nothing. And honestly, getting taken down twice by Mackenzie Dern is not a good look to me at all. So with that said, though, she did look solid on the mat. She did show solid grappling defense, but still. Virna Jandiroba, her wrestling's much better than Mackenzie Dern's. Much, much better wrestler. And when Jandiroba does get on top, you're typically not getting up or you're typically getting submitted. Rodriguez, like I said, her takedown defense, I don't think it's good at all. But what's even worse with Rodriguez is the get-up game. It's just non-existent. Like, when she's taken down, she's not getting back up. And we've seen her stuck on her back. She doesn't even try to get up. Like, it's frustrating. And you do not want Virna Jandiroba on top of you. She's very dangerous. Obviously, on the feet, you favor Rodriguez all day. But on the mat, Virna's going to have opportunities here to win minutes and to win moments and to win the fight by submission. And I'm actually going to go with Virna Jandiroba to win this fight by submission. I think she's going to get a ton of opportunities here to get that submission. This fight is going to hit the mat. And when it does, I like Virna to get the sub there. I'll say second round submission for Virna Jandiroba. I think she gets it done. But yeah, incredible fight here. Striker versus grappler fight. Can't wait to see who gets their way. But I'm leaning Virna. I'm leaning Virna to go out there, get it to the mat, and get the second round sub. All right, moving on. We have a interesting fight here. We have Khaos Williams going against Rolando Bedoya. We got Khaos Williams, 29 years old, 6 foot with a 77-inch reach, 13-3. And 3-2 in his last 5 fights. We got Rolando Bedoya. I think he's 25, 26. I watched his last fight where he was like 25, and that was like a year ago. So I'll say he's 26 years old, but was not able to find anything on Tapology or SureDog in terms of the age. But I think he's 26. Anyways, he's 5'11" with a 75-inch reach. He's 14-1 and 5-0 in his last 5 fights. We'll take a look at the odds here. Khaos Williams, believe it or not, the biggest favorite on the card, and money's still coming in on him. He opened up -265, currently -315. And then Bedoya is currently sitting around +265, the biggest underdog on the card. And yeah, I mean, I don't see it with Bedoya here. I don't see it. This guy kind of reminds me of like Chris Moutinho or Priscilla Cachoeira, just a very tough guy. This guy's so tough. He'll take your best shot. He'll wobble, he'll get dropped, he'll recover right away. But my goodness, this guy has the worst striking defense I've ever seen in my life. I mean, it's terrible. He's walking forward like a zombie. His hands are low. He's getting punched in the face. And what he does is his game plan seems to be, at least in my opinion, is he gets his opponents tired from him getting hit in the face so much. Like, he's getting hit in the face clean. And okay, that can maybe work out outside the UFC against some of these lower-level guys, but do you want to eat punches with your face against Khaos Williams, who starched a very tough Alex Morono in 30 seconds, who starched Abdulrazak Al-Hassan, who'd never been knocked out up until that point, in 30 seconds, who starched Miguel Baez in the third round, who went out there and dropped Randy Brown? I mean, Khaos Williams has legit power, and eating punches with your face just seems like the worst recipe for success in this matchup. I'm not sure what Bedoya is doing here in the UFC. I'm not really sure what's going on with the signing. It's not like he's stepping in on short notice. This matchup was announced a couple months ago, so I'm not sure what's going on here. With that said, I said the same thing about Irina Alekseeva last week, and Irina Alekseeva got a first-round knee bar. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Bedoya goes out there and knee bars Khaos Williams, but yeah, I don't see it here. I think Khaos Williams starches Bedoya within the first 2 minutes. Bedoya is just way too... Unless he's made, like, significant improvements, I think Khaos Williams knocks him out here. Like, the striking defense is that bad. And you don't want to stand there and... Like, Khaos Williams has a really good... Both guys do. Both guys have a really good chin, but Bedoya is just like a walking punching bag, like a Chris Moutinho-type walking punching bag, and that's a bad thing in this matchup. So... Khaos Williams for me. Khaos Williams, first round knockout. He's not going to gas out. I think he has good takedown defense. I think it's a really tough matchup, like a really, really bad matchup for Bedoya here. So not only am I wondering why Bedoya's in the UFC this early, but why are they matching him up with Khaos Williams? Like, I don't know. This matchup makes no sense to me. But give me Khaos Williams to knock out Bedoya and do it in the very first round here. All right, moving on, we have Kennedy Nzechukwu going against Devin Clark, the least dangerous brown bear in the United States. We got Kennedy Nzechukwu, 30 years old, 6'5", with an 83-inch reach, 11-3, and 3-2 in his last 5 fights. Devin Clark, 33 years old, 6 foot, with a 75-inch reach, 14-7, and 2-3 in his last 5 fights. We got Kennedy Nzechukwu, who's going to be the favorite, currently sitting around minus 190, and then brown bear Devin Clark currently sitting around plus 165. And Kennedy's always been this frustrating fighter with me, right? He has all the physical attributes in the world. He's a light heavyweight, 205, but he's 6'5", bigger than and taller than most heavyweights, an 83-inch reach, which I think ranks like third in terms of the entire UFC in terms of reach. The guy is just frame-wise, I mean, the guy is huge for the division. Kennedy Nzechukwu is a guy that I'm always like, each fight, like for the past, since he's been in the UFC, which has been a long time at this point, I'm always like, man, Kennedy, he's green. He still has a lot of work to do. He still needs to put it together. And I've been saying this for years with this guy. I'm like, he has all the physical attributes. If he can just put it together, this guy's going to be a problem. And this guy's been in the UFC for 6 years now. 6 years later, I think he's finally starting to put it all together. I mean, he's been training at Forest MMA for as long as I can remember. He went out there in the Carl Roberson fight a couple fights ago, and he showed a new wrinkle to his game. Prior to that Roberson fight, he's landed 0 takedowns. He went out there and took down Carl Roberson 5 times, showing some grappling, showing some ground and pound, and TKOing Carl Roberson in the 3rd round. Against Ayn Kudalaba, showed good takedown defense, a good get-up game. He did get taken down early on, but in the 2nd round, he was able to knock out Kudalaba in that 2nd round. The one knock on Kennedy is he's a slow starter in pretty much every fight. This guy starts so slow, so he can lose minutes early on, but he's somebody that gets better and better as that fight goes on. He might lose the 1st, but he's not losing that 2nd, and he's not losing that 3rd more often than not. There's been some weird matchups with him in the UFC, like he was winning the entire fight against Paul Craig up until the 3rd round sub. He was winning the Nikolai Negumereanu fight, and then he lost a point, and I thought that should have been a clear draw in that matchup, and I actually did call the draw in that fight, believe it or not, but it was a point deduction that lost Kennedy to the fight there. And then he went out there against Da Un Jung and got knocked out by an elbow that looked like it landed on his guard. So, yeah, there's been some weird losses for Kennedy, but man, I think this is a great matchup for Kennedy and Nzechukwu. I really do. And I think it's a nightmare matchup for Devin Clark. Not only is Devin Clark going to have like an 8-inch reach disadvantage, he's going to have a 5-inch height disadvantage. He's going to be 3 years older. Devin Clark, to win this fight, I think is going to have to grind out Kennedy for 15 minutes. And you can't be at range with Kennedy, especially if you're Devin Clark, who I don't trust the striking defense at 45%. I don't trust the chin. He's been hurt a lot. He's been knocked out a lot. He's been submitted a lot. He's been finished a lot. Finished in 6 of his 7 losses. The one loss he didn't get finished was against Ian Kudalaba, where Kudalaba like 10-8'd him in like the first round and almost finished him multiple times. Fight probably could have been stopped. That's the fight where he lost a lot of his teeth, I think. So yeah, on the feet, it's Kennedy just due to the reach, due to the power. I think that reach and power is going to give Devin Clark a lot of problems. And the thing with Kennedy is he's so hard to take down, and he's so hard to hold down. Like, he's huge for the division. He's very long. It's so hard to take this guy down. So not only do I not see Devin Clark taking down Kennedy, if he does take down Kennedy, Kennedy's popping right back up, because I don't think Devin Clark has the best control to begin with. And on top of that, Kennedy's get-up game is just on point for sure. It always has been. So yeah, I like Kennedy here. I like Kennedy to start slow. It's going to be frustrating looking at him go like this, walking forward, doing nothing for the first 3 minutes. But once he starts getting hit a little bit, he's going to start coming on. And then when that second round hits, when that third round hits, he's really going to start putting it on. And I think he finishes Devin Clark in that second or third round by knockout, potentially even a sub. I wouldn't be shocked if Kennedy got his first sub here. Like, I think he's improving that grappling game. But I'll say knockout here for Kennedy and Nzechukwu. I'll say he knocks out Devin Clark in that second round. All right, next we have the featured prelim, which honestly, it should be a crime that this fight is not on the main card. Like, this is probably one of my favorite fights, if not my favorite fight on the entire card here. But yeah, featured prelim as of now. I'm not sure if they're going to change it. We have Drew Dober going against Matt Frevola. We got Drew Dober, 34 years old, 5'8" with a 70-inch reach, 26-11, and 3-2 in his last 5 fights. Matt Frevola, 32 years old, 5'9" with a 71-inch reach, 10-3. And 3-2 in his last 5 fights. We'll take a look at the odds here. We see that Drew Dober is the favorite, currently sitting around -195. He actually opened up like -350. And then Matt Frevola is currently sitting around +170 here. So yeah, Drew Dober, pretty big favorite. I posted this on Twitter. I'm like, I guess the big question of the week is, does Matt Frevola wrestle with Dober, or does he stand and bang? And that's what it comes down to for me. Is Matt Frevola going to go out there, fight smart, take down Drew Dober, who has like a 55% takedown defense, or is he going to go out there and try to stand with Drew Dober like he did against General Valdez, like he did against Terrence McKinney for like the 7 seconds it lasted, like he did against Ottman Azaitar? Is he going to go out there and go chin for chin, power for power with Drew Dober? If he does that, he's getting knocked out. Matt Frevola's shown a ton of power. Don't get me wrong. He's been looking incredible. He's going out there and knocking these guys out. He dropped General Valdez, it says 4 times, but it's probably like 5 or 6. Like he dropped General Valdez so many times in that matchup. And then he went out there against Ottman Azaitar. And funny enough, I was asking myself the same thing in that Ottman Azaitar fight. I was like, is he going to go out there and take down Ottman Azaitar? Or is he going to stand and bang with him? And guess what? He stood and banged with him, and he knocked him out. But that's not happening against Dober. Dober has one of the best chins in the entire UFC. And although Matt Frevola does hit hard, I just struggle to see him knocking out Drew Dober. Drew Dober is very hittable, though. So maybe Frevola could be the first person in the UFC to knock him out, but I just can't bank on that. If I was to pick Matt Frevola here, I would want him to wrestle, and I just don't think he's going to do that. I have a strong feeling that he's going to go out there and make this a fun and exciting fight for the fans. We got a crowd. We're not in the Apex, and I think he's going to throw down with Drew Dober, and I think that's a very, very big mistake. So for that reason, I'm going with Drew Dober here. I'm going with Drew Dober by first round knockout. I think these guys are going to stand and bang until one man falls, and give me the guy with the next level crazy durability compared to the guy in Matt Frevola, who has been dropped a lot, who did get knocked out by McKinney in 6 seconds, who did get knocked out by Marco Polo Reyes. Give me Drew Dober. I think he knocks out Frevola in the very first round here. But yeah, should be a very fun fight for as long as it lasts in this one. All right, we're going to go to the main card here. Smash the like button if you guys have not already. We're going to kick it off with Charles Jourdain going against Kron Gracie. Sketchy fight, a very sketchy fight. We'll start with Charles Jourdain. He's 27 years old, 5'9", with a 69-inch reach, 13-6-1, and 3-2 in his last 5 fights. Kron Gracie, he is 34 years old, 5'9", with a 70-inch reach, 5-1, and 4-1 in his last 5 fights. We'll take a look at the odds here. Charles Jourdain, the favorite, opening up -185, currently -190. Kron Gracie opening up +160, currently +165. The biggest thing to mention here is we have not seen Gracie in a very long time, and the last time we did actually see Gracie was 3 years and 6 months ago. That's a problem. That's a big problem for me. So I don't like that, but this is a matchup where he has a path to victory, and that path to victory is definitely on the table against Charles Jourdain, who he can't stuff a takedown. Charles Jourdain, 48% takedown defense. That means he's stuffing less than half of the takedowns attempted against him. And honestly, Gracie probably only needs one. We saw Gracie take down Alex Caceres, who is a black belt. Not the best black belt. He has been submitted a lot, but he's a black belt nonetheless. And then he submitted Alex Caceres like in the first 2 minutes of that fight. Kron Gracie's ground game's on another level. It's just he doesn't really have the wrestling to get it there. But in this matchup, hey, he might be able to take down Charles Jourdain. He might be able to take his back. And once he does take his back, that's a wrap. The fight's over. Charles Jourdain's going to have a massive striking advantage here. If Charles Jourdain can keep this on the feet, he's going to look like a big favorite. He's going to probably even knock out Kron Gracie. But I think Gracie's very live here to get the takedown. It's hard to trust somebody and pick somebody coming off of a 3.5-year layoff, but I think the path to victory is right there. One takedown could be it. So I'm gonna take Gracie. Massive layoff here, but I'll take him to win this fight. I'll take him to win this fight by first round submission. I think he takes down Charles Jourdain, takes his back, and chokes him out within the first couple minutes of the fight. But it's a sketchy one. Sketchy fight here. But give me Kron Gracie to win this fight by first round sub. All right, moving on. We got Movsar Evloev going against Bryce Mitchell. We got Evloev, 29 years old, 5'7", with a 72.5-inch reach, 16-0, obviously 5-0 in his last 5 fights. Bryce Mitchell, 28 years old, 5'10", with a 70-inch reach, 15-1, and 4-1 in his last 5 fights. We'll take a look at the odds. Movsar Evloev, one of the biggest favorites on the card, opening up -175, currently -265. Bryce Mitchell opening up +150, currently +225. And in pre-tape, I thought, man, I might parlay Evloev this week. I might place even a straight bet on him. But after getting into it, I think Bryce Mitchell's getting counted out a little bit. Obviously, I still favor Movsar Evloev here. I think he wins this fight, but that's a really wide line here in a fight where I think Mitchell could potentially have success. We have seen Evloev taken down before. We saw Mike Grundy take him down multiple times in the first round, was able to control him a little bit, was able to almost submit Evloev in that first round. So yeah, I could see Bryce Mitchell getting a takedown, getting control, because when Bryce Mitchell gets you down, you're not getting back up. His top control is very good. It's just, we have seen Bryce Mitchell taken down in his own right. It has been in the past, though. It was years ago. I think he's improved since then, but we've seen him taken down. I don't like how he looks off his back. I don't like his get-up game, whereas Evloev, I do think he has the better game off his back, and I do think that he has the better scrambling ability, the better ability to get back up if he does get taken down. This fight is going to take place probably on the mat. These guys are both wrestler grapplers. Both their striking is not great. I think they are improving the striking for sure, but both their striking is not great. I'm going to go Evloev here, but I would be kind of cautious here in this matchup. I'm going to say Evloev does end up taking down Bryce Mitchell consistently. I think he's going to wear on him. I think he's going to get Bryce Mitchell tired as the fight goes on. Evloev, I don't see him tiring out, slowing down, whereas Bryce Mitchell, I have seen him slowing down in the past, especially when he's getting taken down and grappled. I think Bryce Mitchell can even win the first round here potentially, but as the fight goes on, I do trust Evloev to get on top, mix in takedowns, get a ton of takedowns in this matchup, and win this fight by decision. But I do think it's going to be a little closer than these crazy odds do indicate. But I'll take Evloev to win this fight. I'll take him to win it by decision. Alrighty, moving on. A couple fights left. We got Jessica Andrade going against Yan Xiaonan. We got Andrade, 31 years old, 5'1", with a 62-inch reach, 24-10, and 3-2 in her last 5 fights. Yan Xiaonan, 33 years old, 5'5", with a 63-inch reach, 16-3, and 3-2 in her last 5 fights. We'll take a look at the odds here. Jessica Andrade is the favorite. She opened up around minus 175, currently minus 185. Yan Xiaonan opened up plus 150. She's currently plus 160. And yeah, I think people are really down on Jessica Andrade after her last fight against Erin Blanchfield. We got to remember, though, a couple things. She took that fight on 1 week's notice against Erin Blanchfield, which probably wasn't a good idea. Apparently, she was like on vacation when she took the fight. So she was probably, eating whatever she wants, drinking, all that. She was probably not in training at all. And so she took the fight, she got paid, whatever, but, she probably should not have took that fight against Erin Blanchfield. So that's one thing. Another thing is, this is a completely different matchup. Erin Blanchfield is a very good wrestler, very good grappler. She subbed Andrade. Okay, that's fine. Not happening here at Yan Xiaonan, who's a striker. On the feet, yeah, Yan Xiaonan is the more technical fighter. She's much better defensively. Jessica Andrade, she comes forward, she blocks punches with her face, but Andrade is going to have the more power on the feet. But yeah, you got to favor Yan on the feet. The thing where I like Andrade in this matchup is going to be the wrestling, the grappling. Yan Xiaonan, we saw it. We all saw it. I mean, she got taken down and dominated by Carla Esparza, and I just can't get that out of my head. I really can't. She got taken down and dominated by Carla Esparza. Like, she made Carla Esparza, who is not finishing anybody ever, look like Khamzat Chimaev. Like, Carla Esparza took her down and destroyed her. Like, so if Carla Esparza, who finishes nobody, is destroying you, what the heck is Jessica Andrade going to do? Obviously, if these fighters strike for 15 minutes, yeah, Yan probably makes it very competitive, if not wins the fight. But why would Andrade not go for takedowns in this matchup? That's the silliest thing I've ever heard. So, yeah, I like Andrade to get takedowns here, get on top, and finish Yan Xiaonan in very brutal fashion. So I like Andrade, second round TKO or sub. I think she takes down Yan whenever she wants. And the thing with Jessica Andrade, she's super strong, especially for the strawweight division. She's super strong. She has great cardio, even though she puts 110% into every shot, into every takedown. She has super good cardio. She's not going to slow down. She's not going to gas out. So if she wants to wrestle, she's going to wrestle. And I don't think Yan's going to be able to do anything about it. So I like Andrade here. Andrade, second round TKO. I think she pounds out Yan Xiaonan in that second round here. So give me Andrade to get it done by KO. All right, co-main event. 5-round fight. We got Gilbert Burns going against Belal Muhammad. We got Burns, 36 years old, 5'10", with a 71-inch reach, 22-5 and 3-2 in his last 5 fights. Belal Muhammad, 34 years old, 5'11", with a 72-inch reach, 22-3 and 4-0 and 1 no contest in his last 5 fights. We'll take a look at the odds here, and Gilbert Burns is the favorite. Opening up, a pretty big favorite here, and the money has been pouring in on Belal Muhammad. Like, Muhammad was like plus 150, I thought, last week. Now he's plus 110. Burns currently sitting around minus 130. So this line's closed up a lot throughout the last week and a half, 2 weeks. 5-round fight here. A 5-round fight here, and I think that's very important to mention. And, thinking about this matchup, if this was 3 rounds, I think I would favor Gilbert Burns here. I think I would. Burns is going to be the better striker, at least early. I think he has a lot more power. I think he's much more dangerous than Belal Muhammad on the feet. For that reason, I favor Burns on the feet. But the 5-round aspect of things makes this fight very interesting. I don't see Burns taking down Muhammad. Muhammad has incredible takedown defense, over 90%, and an incredible get-up game. I don't see Burns taking down Muhammad. If Muhammad wants to take down Burns, he can do it. Do I recommend doing so? Probably not early on, but yeah, if he wants to take him down later in the fight when Burns is tired, sure, go for it. But Burns' grappling, his BJJ is on another level. I don't know if I would do that at least early on. But yeah, if Muhammad wants to wrestle, we can. On the feet, like I said, Burns is going to have the power. He could potentially hurt Muhammad, knock him out. We've seen Muhammad knocked out before. It was like 7, 8 years ago against Vicente Luque. I think 6 years ago. I think it was back in 2016. So we have seen Muhammad knocked out, but it was a while ago. But I think that's how Burns wins this fight. I think if Burns wins this fight, it's an early finish here. And I think Muhammad has great toughness, great durability, and I think he can survive that early storm. I don't think Burns has the best cardio. People are bringing up the Tyron Woodley fight, which was a 5-round fight, and that's great, but Tyron Woodley threw like 50 punches in that fight, so Burns was able to dictate it at his pace, and that's just not going to happen here. Belal Muhammad, he has great cardio, great pressure, great pace, great volume, and he's going to make Gilbert Burns work. And if he does that, I see Burns slowing down. We've seen Burns slow down in 3-round fights before. And this is going to be a very high-paced fight, in my opinion. So I like Burns to win some rounds early on, bank some rounds early on, land some big shots. potentially hurt Muhammad. But as this fight goes on, I do heavily favor Muhammad in that 3rd, 4th, and 5th round. And I think he potentially even finished Burns late in this fight. So I'm going to take Muhammad here to win this fight. I like him to win. I like him to weather that early storm, put the pressure on, put the pace on, and break Burns as this fight goes on. I don't think Burns has the best cardio. I don't think Burns has the best chin. And although Muhammad's not a knockout guy, I could definitely see him getting Burns tired and finishing him late in the fight. So I'm going to take Muhammad to win this fight. I'll say 4th round TKO for Belal Muhammad. I think he gets Burns out of there late. But yeah, very good fight here. I'm very high on both these guys. I know people crap on Belal, he's boring, all that, but this guy's good. Belal Muhammad's very good. And Burns, of course, is a fan favorite, especially after the Khamzat fight. So after he lost to Khamzat, his stock just completely skyrocketed, and people love this guy now. And I get it. I like Burns myself, but I don't know, 5 rounds, I don't know. I feel like I got to go Muhammad here. So give me Muhammad to win this fight. I'll take him to win by 4th or 5th round knockout. All right, main event time. If you guys have not already, be sure to comment down your significant strikes combined between these two. $25 the first. Love doing these contests. Love seeing how you guys do on these. But yeah, Henry Cejudo, Aljamain Sterling, main event. We got Cejudo, 36 years old, 5'4", with a 67.5-inch reach, 16-2, and 5-0 in his last 5 fights. Aljamain Sterling, 33 years old, 5'7", with a 71-inch reach, 22-3, and 5-0 in his last 5 fights. We'll take a look at the odds here. Very closely lined fight. It's about a pick-em. Cejudo minus 115, Sterling minus 105. Kind of interested to see where this line does go throughout the week. I don't really know where it's going to go personally, so we'll have to see. And yeah, I'm one of the... I thought I was the biggest Aljamain Sterling hater, but people really hate this guy. I did a prediction video breaking down this main event, and I picked Sterling with like no confidence, and I don't think I've ever been attacked so much for picking somebody. So yeah, I guess there's a lot of Aljamain Sterling haters out there. This is a fight that's just impossible for me to call. I have no confidence on this fight, and for a couple reasons. Henry Cejudo has not fought in 3 years. And people are bringing up John Jones, and I think that's a ridiculous comparison because John Jones came into the fight weighing in, 250-something? Henry Cejudo's a bantamweight, man. Like, these lower weight classes, you don't want to be 36, 37, 38. A heavyweight, that's fine. So, yes, the layoff scares me for Cejudo. Like, if this fight was 3 years ago, I'm max betting Henry Cejudo. I think it's a great matchup for him. But that layoff, the retirement, it all really does scare me. Well, on top of that, Sterling, in terms of Tapology, is going to have a 4.5-inch reach advantage. But some websites are saying this guy Sterling's going to have a 7-inch reach advantage. Like, I think Sherdog has like a 7. I'll have to check UFC stats, but Sterling's going to have a big reach advantage, a big height advantage. Cejudo's small for bantamweight. And what's frustrating is I keep picking against Sterling, and he keeps proving me wrong. Obviously, there's been some fluky situations. I thought he lost the Jan fight, the second one. Obviously, the disqualification with Jan in the first fight. And then TJ Dillashaw came in there with an injury. So there's some sketchy wins there for Sterling, but still, he keeps on getting it done. And the Sandhagen wins just aging very well. If Cejudo shows up and looks like prime Cejudo, I think it's a winnable matchup for him. I do. His takedown defense is on point. On paper, it's 93%, but it's really 100%. They credited Demetrius Johnson with a takedown, I think in the second or third round of their second fight. And I went back and watched that fight, and there was no takedown at all. So probably 100% takedown defense for Cejudo. So Sterling, I don't see him taking him down. I think if Sterling does get this fight down to the mat, he's going to have to take his back standing, something like that. So I think this fight's going to play out on the feet, and when it does, I think it's close. Obviously, Cejudo's a much more technical striker, the better striker, more power, but Sterling's going to have anywhere from a 4 to 7-inch reach advantage. He's going to have the volume advantage as well. And if there is some ring rust with Cejudo, if he has lost a step, there's going to be problems because Sterling's in his prime. Like, Sterling's never looked better. You know, he's training with Merab Dvalishvili on the daily. Sterling's looked incredible as of late. Even considering the circumstances where I thought he lost to Jan both times outside the DQ. So, tough fight for me to call. And I've been going back and forth on this pick, but I'm gonna side with the more active guy. You know, the activity means a lot to me. The younger guy, that means a lot to me. The volume means a lot to me. The size means a lot to me. I'm gonna go with Sterling here in this matchup, but if we do get prime Cejudo, he should win this fight. I'm just not sure if we will get that. So give me Sterling to win this fight. I'll say by decision. I'm not sure I'm betting this fight. I'm not sure I want to bet this fight just because there's a lot of question marks and red flags in terms of mostly on that Henry Cejudo, even on like the Sterling side, right? So it's a fight I'm probably going to stay away from, but I'm going to pick Sterling. But I'll let you know right now, this is my least confident pick on the entire card. And I could definitely make a case for Cejudo. It's just the layoff is the one thing holding me back. So we'll see what happens there. All right, so yeah, that's it. If you guys enjoyed the content, please leave a like on your way out. Let's see if we can get to 500 likes. Would be much, much appreciated. Subscribe to the channel. That is appreciated as well. And then also check out dfsbythenumbers.com. Check out that $10 betting tier. I'm going to be getting out my full card breakdown and best bet article. That'll be out probably Tuesday. I'm ahead this week, so that should be out Tuesday night if all the props drop. So be sure to check that out. And other than that, comment down the significant strikes for Cejudo and Sterling. Let's see if who can get closest there. And yeah, other than that, going live Friday after the weigh-ins, and then I'll be going live Saturday, I think twice for best bet, and then maybe like a fight day live chat potentially. So looking forward to that. Looking forward to this card. Should be a great card, great night, and let's see if we can keep the ball rolling in terms of the success that has been had thus far in 2023. So best of luck, guys, on your bets, on your picks, and we'll talk to you soon. Enjoy the card. See you later.